Welcome back to Killer Customs. Today we are tackling, or at least starting to tackle, the wiring. I currently have a Wiring Specialties 2JZ wiring harness. So that is the fuse box for the wiring harness. I have more stuff to run, a power wire which I will have to redo, and the wires all for the engine go across there and then out the firewall there. And then the gauges for the wiring harness on that come out here. So I now have a painless harness basically to run the lights, the radio, the other stuff on the truck. That will end up being mounted basically here. So obviously with the painless harness, it gives you basically the entire setup to wire a vehicle. We do not need all of the wires because of the Wiring Specialties running the 2JZ. So we have to currently go through and sort out all the wires that would be engine or something like that, or for the gauges, and get rid of the ones we don't need and just keep the ones that are for the lights, for turn signals, brake lights, the whole 9 yards of that. So we have put a panel in here. We've kind of welded it in places on both sides so that they kind of stay. We don't really need to get back here. There's nothing back there except for structure, so we don't really need to do it. I will end up cutting a hole here to put a mount a speaker, and then at some point we will put some paneling around all this. But this we never plan to take off. The hole will be big enough for the speaker that I could get my hand up there and reach something if I needed to. So we drilled a 2-inch hole and just ran a coat hanger through it, and we will feed all the wire through, hook it onto the coat hanger, run it down to the outside of the fender, which I will show you. And so all this is basically hidden. We will then take the stuff that goes to the back, we'll run it down the frame rail on this side to the back, and the stuff needs to go to the front. Headlights, that will run that way, of course. That you won't see this wire for the most part. It'll be hidden. It'll be a tucked system. But if I have a problem on the engine side of the harness, if I know that it's on the left-hand side of the truck. If I have problems with lights or anything like that, all my wires will run on the right-hand side of the truck. So I kind of keep that separate just to keep myself a little more organized, so I don't have to try to dig through 20 wires to try to figure out what it is, or which wire I'm looking for. So that's it in a nutshell. Let's get started. So on the outside, I have the fender kind of pulled back just so you could see. I have the coat hanger sitting here. I have another grommet, full grommet this time, that will slice so we can run the wires through. We will loom those wires completely as we run them through, so they'll be protected all the way through. But this is my exit point. Now, of course, when the fender gets bolted back up, and that, which of course I can't do, there it goes. But when the fender gets all done, you won't be able to see the wires come through. And I will run the front wires down this body line on the outside where the tire is here. I will loom them, protect them, and then put them in some clamps along this side all the way down until it goes into the grill where the headlights and the turn signals are. So that's the way the front runs. The rear will run down the sideboard, running board, all the way down the fender, and then to the taillights. So the hope is that I keep as much of the wiring concealed as I possibly can, and we'll see how it goes. Alright, so today we are continuing on the wiring. We have the wire coming through the kick panel, if you will, rubber grommet. We've got it split up, so the back is going to go to the back. The front is basically, we're going to wrap it here and follow all of these down and around, something in the vicinity of there. And then we will figure out how to run it to the grill for the lights here in a little bit. But this is at least to get us started. Alright, so we have basically from the rubber grommet, now have run 4, right along top 5, I guess. There, so now we're going to run it down, and then we're probably going to end up drilling a hole somewhere in the vicinity of here-ish, so it goes into the back of the grill, so you can't see it, and that's where we'll tie into the headlights, and then run it across the grill to the other headlight. Alright, so we're back for another day. Yesterday we basically got done with the wiring, the front wiring, so we've got it all run up top here, down. We drilled a new hole in here which goes behind the grill and then runs, of course, to this headlight and then park light, and then runs across the grill to the other headlight and park light. So when you come around to the front, and that you see no wires, see nothing, everything is behind this grill, except for the one horn, which will be tucked up somewhere, and I will have to figure out how I'm going to run that. Here is where we have the horn wire, and I will have to figure out what I'm going to do exactly with that. I don't know. But the wiring is up there by the grill. So the front is all done.